2, now making their way to the one and only International Space Station.
The launch just over an hour ago using a recycled capsule and rocket was a success and a memorable moment for people who stayed up late, like Lance Bryant.
It was awesome. So, yeah, it's something definitely glad we experienced today.
A CDC panel meets today to discuss the pause on use of the Johnson & Johnson coronavirus vaccine. Dr. Ashish Jha, the Brown University School of Public Health, tells ABC he expects that pause to be lifted.
This is a really good vaccine. It's very safe. It's very effective. They took a little pause to gather more data. Unless they discovered something that's going to, really surprise all of us, I think they're going to come to conclude that it's an incredibly safe vaccine and we should resume giving it to people.
The White House Virtual Climate Summit continues today. President Biden is expected to expand on these remarks he made yesterday.
I see an opportunity to create millions of good-paying, middle-class union jobs.
Thursday, he also set a target of cutting U.S. emissions by 50% from 2005 levels by 2030. A new poll finds a majority of Americans say they are not confident police get enough training to avoid using excessive force.
Confidence that police in the U.S. are adequately trained to avoid using excessive force is at a new low. In a new ABC News Washington poll out, 6 in 10 Americans say they favor doing more to hold police accountable for the mistreatment of black people. 63% saying black Americans and other minorities do not receive equal treatment as whites do in the country's criminal justice system. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The FAA says it's working with Boeing to identify an electrical problem that's led to the grounding of more than 100 737 MAX jets. You're listening to ABC News.
How clean is your nose? Most airborne germs and allergens invade through the nose, your body's air filter. It's first line of defense. You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? Did you know there's an easy way to keep your nose clean and help your body protect itself? It's called Navage Nasal Care. Navage uses powered suction to clean your nose by flushing out pollen, mucus, bacteria, and viruses. Millions use Navage for fast, all-natural relief from sinus congestion and allergies, and to breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier without drugs. Navage is easy to use, affordable, and it comes with an absolute guarantee of satisfaction. And 50,000 independent online reviews averaging 4.7 stars show just how much people love their Navage. You wash your hands and brush your teeth every day. Now you can clean your nose and help protect your health with Navage. At Navage.com, CVS, Walgreens, Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, and Rite Aid. Navage. N-A-V-A-G-E. Make good nasal hygiene your new normal with Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
In Washington, bipartisan work focused on the border. Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema from Arizona joining with Republican John Cornyn of Texas on a bill to create 4 new processing centers to handle the surge of migrants. The bill would also add more immigration judges. A promising young basketball star hoping for a future in the NBA was killed Thursday in a crash in Los Angeles.
Terence Clark was in Los Angeles when LAPD say surveillance video showed he was driving at a very high rate of speed in the San Fernando Valley area when he ran a red light, collided with another vehicle, hit a streetlight pole, and then a block wall. He was pronounced dead at Northridge Hospital. Celtics guard Kemba Walker got to know Terence, who's from Dorchester, Massachusetts.
He's a very, very good kid. Always smiling, always energetic. That's really tough news to hear.
At 6'7" with pro skills, Clark was in his first year at Kentucky and was a top prospect for the upcoming NBA draft. Terence Clark was 19. Todd Ant, ABC News.
Governor of Kansas vetoed a bill that would have barred transgender athletes from participating in girls' or women's sports. Governor Laura Kelly said the bill would have done more harm than good. And changes are on the way to the competition to find the best speller. The Scripps National Spelling Bee is going to add vocabulary questions and a lightning round tiebreaker. Last year's bee was canceled by the coronavirus pandemic. This year's event will be mostly virtual with the in-person final set for early July. This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil option at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $29.99. Syntec is formulated for today's engines to minimize friction, heat, and wear. Try Syntec today exclusively at
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
You know, folks are saying once you've used a Massey Ferguson, you won't ever want another tractor. They're tough, versatile, and dependable. And now with the change of season special at NC Tractor and Farm Supply, you'll be wise to get your special deal. Our tractors have been running in families for generations. Ask about the Phil Sheehan special going on right now. NC Tractor, 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. Call 288-0395.
Good morning and happy Friday. We are starting quite cold again this morning. Luckily, we'll see a milder afternoon. Highs today in the mid to upper 60s, and we'll see a mostly sunny sky becoming partly cloudy through the day. Mostly cloudy overnight tonight, in the mid to upper 40s and near 50s Saturday morning. Scattered to widespread rain with us Saturday midday through the afternoon and evening. Could see a few stronger thunderstorms, but really that chance to the south and all dependent on a warm front lifting north. We're drier on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Well, we're just a little bit above the freeze-a-locka mode. We're at 34 degrees starting out this morning. We'll be warming up nicely at 66. There may be areas of frost this morning as you start out. Maybe a little thin layer of ice on the windshield, but not very much. Now, we have a little rain coming tomorrow. We'll wash out tomorrow, but after that, all the way through Wednesday, I'm seeing clear skies and warmer temperatures. Matter of fact, next Wednesday, it'll be up to 81 degrees for our daytime high next Wednesday. So just hang around. The weather's going to change. If you don't like what we got now, just hang around. It will be changing. Now we'll have these death announcements this morning. David Leland Higginbotham, age 69 of Forest City, passed away Tuesday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center. In honor of David's wishes, no formal services will be conducted, and Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with serving the family of David Leland Higginbotham. Max Champion, age 69 of Forest City, passed away Monday, April 19th. The funeral service will be held 3 o'clock today in the Florence Baptist Church with Reverend David Cox and Reverend Dr. Bobby Gann officiating. Burial will follow at Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2:45 today in the sanctuary at Florence Baptist Church, and the funeral starts at 3. The Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for T. Max Champion. Cynthia Darlene Phillips, age 53 of Columbus, passed away April 19th. A private family service was her wish, with the celebration of life to be held at a later date, and the Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory in charge of those arrangements for Cynthia Darlene Phillips. Charles Francis McCabe, age 53, of Spindale, passed away Tuesday at Rutherford Regional Medical Center after a brief illness. A celebration of life for Charles will be held at Barley's in Spindale beginning at 2 o'clock today. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is assisting the family of Charles Francis McCabe. Wilbur Lee Earls, age 76 of Mooresboro, passed away Tuesday at his residence. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock today at Camps Creek Baptist Church, with Reverend Billy Cogdale officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Service has been entrusted with the arrangements for Wilbur Lee Earls. Mabel Creason Parker, 84 of Union Mills, passed away Monday, April 19th at Care Partners Hospice Solace Center in Nashville. A funeral service will be held Saturday, April 24th at Shingle Hollow Congregational Holiness Church at 3 o'clock. The family will receive friends from 1 until 3, 2 hours prior to the service at the church. Burial will follow at Gilkey Church of God Cemetery. The family requests that COVID precautions be followed. Beam Funeral Home is serving the family of Mabel Creason Parker of Union Mills. And Elvira Elaine Walford, her funeral will be held, her celebration of life will be held at Fairfield Mountains Chapel Saturday, April 24th, and be buried at West Point Cemetery. Forest City Hospice of the Carolina Foothills, it will be the place for any donation. Those are the death announcements we have this morning. Complete information on these and others as they become available to us can be heard at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report. We report the full obituaries as they become available to us. Now stay tuned for the morning update, Rush Limbaugh morning update. We'll get to the phones and make our calls around the counter to find out what's been going on overnight while we slept. It's a survey of news right here on WCAB Rutherford.
There's a new poll out there on higher education from the AP and the National Opinion Research Center, that's NORC, and the experts are said to be alarmed at the results. Now, according to the poll, a majority of young Americans between 13 and 29 agree that college can put people on a path to success, but only about 40% agree that a 4-year degree adequately prepares people for today's economy. Now, here's the part that experts find alarming. Half of these young Americans think that a high-school education provides the skills needed to get a good job. 6 out of 10 think vocational schools are good. But the vast majority of young people, 73% of them, think the best preparation is job experience rather than a degree. Experts are distressed by the skepticism about the value of a college degree, and I'll bet the AP hated to report that young people's esteem for practical experience is shared by the Trump administration, which is pushed to expand apprenticeship programs. Now, what the alarmed experts miss are the reasons for these results. Many colleges, despite the ridiculous price tag, are nothing more than liberal indoctrination centers. Young people are figuring out that it makes no sense to go deep into debt for useless liberal degrees that don't prepare them for real life, like degrees in anti-corruption, rule of law. Anyway, all this is not alarming to me. It's very hopeful.
Hey, Buck Sexton here, a familiar voice to many of you, having guest hosted this program for Rush many times before. Gold has been a measure of wealth throughout history, and with good reason. Gold has never been worth zero. Well, guess what? Now you can have real gold and silver as part of your wealth, either in your retirement accounts or delivered securely to your home by working with the Oxford Gold Group. This is the industry leader in precious metals and the only gold and silver company I trust. Oxford Gold Group will beat any competitor's price on gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. If you want to get financial stability, you need to look into acquiring real gold and silver with the Oxford Gold Group. Call Oxford today at 833-404-GOLD. Don't gamble with your hard-earned money. Put your money into something solid, safe, and secure. Call the Oxford Gold Group at 833-404-GOLD and get your free investment guide right now. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
The music's on us on WCAB.
The Atlanta Braves are back and ready to defend the East, and they're on a mission to make 2021 a season to remember.
1-2 pitch. Hit well, deep left field. This one carrying well. Dickerson back of the wall, and Dansby ripped the stitches right off of this thing.
Tonight, don't miss Freddie Freeman and the Braves in a big National League battle with the Arizona Diamondbacks, live from Truist Park. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
Another season has come and gone, and you're still looking at that same sad-looking sofa or recliner. Well, now's the time to change the inside of your home to look as pretty as the spring and summer colors outside. And the perfect place to start is the Recliner Center. Right now at the Recliner Center, everything is 20% off. That's 20% off sofas, recliners, sofa recliners. If someone you love is having trouble standing, the Recliner Center has all lift chairs on sale for 10% off. All lift chairs, 10% off. Now, some of these chairs can take you from a standing position, then safely back down to a sitting position with no effort on your part whatsoever. Angela is cleaning out merchandise to make room for more. So now's your chance to redecorate your home and take advantage of the great savings at the Recliner Center. All lift chairs, 10% off. Everything else is 20% off. Angela is seeing folks by appointment only, so call 828-395-3562. Call her today. The Recliner Center. They're on Cooper's Gap Road in Rutherford.
After escaping jail in Nashville, Tennessee, where he was serving a life sentence, John Glanton came to Texas, joined the U.S. Army, and fought in the Mexican War of 1846. He started his first money-making venture with a group of ruffians in Mexico as an Indian scalp hunter. After racking up almost $100,000 in scalps, it was discovered many of them belonged to Mexicans and Americans. With an $80,000 bounty on their heads, John and his gang decided to go to California. On their way, they came across a ferry operated across the Colorado River. Seeing this as another business opportunity, John shot the owner and took over his business. Having a monopoly on transportation across the Colorado River, John decided to increase the transportation fees. Everything went smoothly until a wagon master by the name of Patterson refused to pay the fees. Patterson hired the local Yuma Indians to build him 2 long rafts to take his wagons to the other side. The Yuma Indians saw a business opportunity of their own, so they hired a man named Gallagher as manager and started their own ferry service, charging half what John Glanton charged. John burned the Yuma Indians' rafts and killed their manager. The Yuma Indians then visited John's ferry operation and on April 23, 1850, killed John and his business associates. There was talk of a reprisal against the Yuma Indians. Then the real story about John Glanton came out. Not only did things settle down, a fort was built on the location of the ferry. It was named Fort Yuma after the people who ridded the area of a gang of scum. You've just heard another story from Chronicle of the Old West. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Now it's 16 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's get started with our Thank Goodness It's Finally Friday Friends Call Around News Report here on WCAB. And Deputy Greenway is on the phone with me now from the Sheriff's Department to get us started. Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing good, sir. How about yourself?
Doing really well, thanks. What's on the report from the past 24 hours?
Okay, so we've had 128 calls, made 4 arrests, and there's currently 124 in the jail. Our investigation reports, Butler's Auto Sales reported a felony breaking and entering. We had Catherine Martin reported a financial card fraud. Gina Day reported a fraud. Laura Allen reported a felony breaking and entering. We had James Freeman reported a larceny of firearm, and Kayla Searcy reported a larceny of firearm. Moving on to our arrest reports, Roy Hudson was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Rashid Grant was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Travis Smith was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Dustin Lauder, failure to appear on misdemeanor. Kimberly Clark, failure to appear on felony. Nehemiah McGee was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor, and that's all we got for you today.
Deputy Greenway, thank you so very much for that report, and you be safe out there this weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye. And we'll move now next to 911 Communications Center report after this.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers of Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. They continue to strive hard to keep that honor. Come on in and see for yourself. Take a look at the all-new design 2021 F-150 or reserve an all-new 2021 Bronco coming in the spring. Don't miss out on the automobile you've been wanting at the Sisk Family Ford price. Take your pick while the picking is good on Oak Street in Forest City.
Here's Emily now with the 911 Communications Center update. Emily, good morning.
Good morning.
What's on the report?
In the past 24 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and 911 Communications has processed 442 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of EMS and rescue had 37 for emergency medical service and 12 for rescue. Law enforcement, there was 128 for the Sheriff's Office, 73 for Forest City, 8 for Lake Lure, 44 for Rutherfordton, 54 for Spindale. Fire calls, Bills Creek responded to a structure fire and was assisted by Lake Lure, Fairfield, and Greenhill. Bostick responded to a structure fire and was assisted by Forest City, Hudlow, and Cherry Mountain. Forest City also had an industrial fire alarm, and Union Mills had a structure fire. And that's all I have.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Well, the special flag is now flying over WCAB. We're happy to be a part of the flag waving for Colonel Crystal Haynes. Over the last couple of weeks, the flag has been soaring above places of significance to the 45-year-old Haynes. It already waved above Sunshine Elementary, where she attended school through the 8th grade. Other flagpoles included East Rutherford High School, Isothermal Community College, and we're happy to be able to fly it here at WCAB. Those are just a few of the places to hoist the flag in honor of Haynes, who is set to retire this year from the U.S. Air Force as a colonel. The Department of Defense provides the retiring officers with an American flag. It's a keepsake for their military careers, and they have a choice of where they want the flag to be flown. And it's traditional to have the flag flown over important places like the capitals and those kind of things, Colonel Haynes said, but many people choose the state capitol or favorite bases. But for her, Rutherford County has been special, and she wanted to fly the flag as many locations as possible because they're all special to her. So she wanted to have as many family and friends involved as possible. And so yesterday we received the flag here, and this morning Todd and I hoisted it up the flagpole. It will fly all day in honor and recognition and appreciation of Colonel Haynes and her love of Rutherford County. Now here's Ruby Taylor with the report from Danieltown, SDO. Good morning, Ruby.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Well, I don't have anything but birthdays. Y'all got trouble up there.
Well, you know, we've had trouble all month. We've had 21 Mondays up here.
Well, join the crowd. On my birthday calendar, I got Jean Morris, Thelma Toms, Margie Husky, Susan Collins, and Terry Pardon having birthdays today. Mr. and Ms. Billy Bass have an anniversary. And hope these people have a nice day. Tomorrow, Gail Roop and Kenny Robbins and Mr. and Mrs. Alan Buchanan is having birthdays today, and hope they have a nice day. And then Sunday, Alan Mathis and Billy Bass is having birthdays, and hope all these people have a nice day. And Jim, I hope you get straightened out up there.
Well, thank you, Ruby. I hope you do too. And you call in who you think your top-notch engineers to do some work, and they're puzzled sometimes themselves. But we'll get over it.
Yeah, I've been at it months and months, but I'll get there one day.
Oh yeah, we'll make it. Sun's going to rise again.
Yes, it will.
You have a great day, Ruby.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
22 minutes after 7. When you hear someone say, I have finally found a heating and air conditioning company I can depend on, and you say, who? And they say, Immaculate Heating and Air Conditioning. So then you find out more, and you learn Immaculate will do a spring checkup special on your air conditioner for only $49.99. Hot weather coming soon, and you want to be ready for it with a hassle-free air conditioner. Get it inspected during the spring checkup for the special price of $49.99. You can book online at www.immaculateheatingandair. That's immaculateheatingandair.com. Just click the green book online button at the top of the page or call 755-8150. By the way, this $49.99 spring special is for a limited time. Now let's head up to the Fairfield Mountains Fire District. And Gary Wilson, good morning.
Good morning, Jim. How you doing?
Thank goodness it's finally Friday, friend.
Yep, it's finally got here.
Yep.
It finally got here. A little nippy start again this morning, but not as bad as quite as bad as yesterday. We're about 34, 35 degrees this morning, and 4 or 5 degrees warmer than yesterday, but still a little cool out there. It's gonna warm up good today, I think.
Yeah.
And we got some rain coming in tomorrow, and that's a good thing because we're sure getting dry. And had one fire call yesterday. Bills Creek had a structure fire in Riverbend, and they were assisted by Lake Lure Greenhill and us about 9 o'clock last night. Got back in all after that one after midnight, so kind of a short night or a long day one, I guess you call it.
My goodness.
But, everything else was quiet after that, and up at White House Community Center tomorrow, they're having a big breakfast buffet up there, $6 for adults, and I believe it's half price for children 6 to 10, and 5 and under be eating free. And I always have a lot of good food up there and good people up there, so I hope everybody get a chance to go by there and get them a good breakfast and get the weekend started off right. And other than that, I think we're good to go right now, Jim. Hope everybody has a good weekend, a quiet one for everybody.
I hope everybody's safe and don't have to get out on too many calls this weekend, Gary, and you have a good one too.
All right, you too. Have a good one.
All right, bye-bye. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is a variety store. Here's why I say that. Cedar shavings, 5.0 cubic feet, $7.99 per bag. They have Pontiac red potatoes, kidney baked potatoes, $18 for a 50-pound. River Run dog food, specially priced. Plenty of horse quality hay. Refill propane, $10.99 for a 20-pound tank. Wrangler sweet feed, $8.69 for the 50-pound bag. Cardinal tissue and paper towels, 6-pack, $4.49. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply is the largest farm supply store, and you should come and see how much you can save. 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherford. Hudlow Fire District is a stop we like to make every morning. And Bob Hodge, good morning.
Well, good, cool Friday morning.
It's another one, I'll tell you.
That's right, but that sun's coming up this morning. Maybe it'll warm up a little after a while. But look like we're going to have a little rain over the weekend, but it's getting dry. I guess we need it there. So.
Yeah, I think so.
And, Jim, up here with the fire department, we assisted Union Mills on a structure fire on Running Creek Drive off of Camp Creek Road. And then we assisted Boston on a structure fire off of Pea Ridge Road. And other than that, been pretty quiet with the fire department. And right now, this morning, things are running along good up here. And maybe we'll have a quiet weekend and the weather will warm up a little bit more.
Well, I hope it does, and I think it will next week. And our temperature today even is expected to climb up to about 66, which is not bad weather. That's pretty mild there, about 66. Not too hot, not too cold.
That's right there. That's about normal there. So we'll beat what we had the last day or two there. So maybe the wind won't get up too bad. That wind what makes it rough, you know. So.
You're right. You're right about that. I don't believe. I'm just looking on my report. I don't believe. Well, the wind will be gusting to about 16 miles per hour today, so it's going to be a little windy out there.
Well,
we've been there, done that.
That's right. But Jim, you take care, and y'all have a good weekend.
Thanks, Bob. I hope you and Aubergine have a good one too, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. 27 after 7 here on this Friday morning report. And we'll continue circling the county till we've made contact with all of our reporters that are on docket. And you're right here with us, and we thank you for making WCAB your radio station of choice to wake up to. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. I'm traveling over around the Cherry Mountain Fire District and I'm looking for Sue Price. Sue Price, is she available?
She's available.
Oh, hey, Sue.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. Hope you are.
I am indeed.
It's a beautiful morning over here. The sun's out already, but it's cold out there. I had 30 degrees this morning. And let's see, the fire department assisted Bostic on a structure fire. I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on either one of my calendars, but we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day. And there's a squirrel out there in my bird feeder.
Oh, don't you love it? Don't you love it?
I do.
They eat more than
he comes about every morning.
The squirrels eat more than the birds do, I think.
I know. Well, let's see. In my announcements, the first broad on May the 2nd, and they'll have the guest singers will be the Golden Valley Crusaders at the 11 a.m. service. And Duncan's Creek will be having Sunday morning. They'll be having the Piney Mountain Boys at the worship service. And so far, I believe that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over this way, and we're looking for a good day and a good weekend, and I hope you and Faye will have one.
Thanks, Sue. I appreciate it. Enjoy your day, and I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Cherry Mountain nice and quiet this morning. Well, if you haven't been to Joy's Bridal in a while, I would suggest that you go by, at least look around, and see what's in store for you. Joy's been doing things for weddings and special events for a long, long time. And she is not happy unless you are happy. So make sure that you let Joy and her staff over there find just the right outfit for you. If you go into a wedding or need a wedding dress or maybe a groomsman outfit, they can fix you right up. If you need a lot of jewelry to accentuate what you're doing, they got a great selection of jewelry, stylish, beautiful jewelry for any occasion. So if it's been a while since you visited Joy's Bridal, it's worth a look around. Yeah, go see Joy's Bridal. They're in the Tri-City Mall. Joy's been at this for 28 years and more, and she knows how important these big events are to you, and she would love to help you decide what's best for you. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 till 6, on Saturdays, 10 till 4:30. You'll be glad you shopped at home, and you'll be glad you rediscovered Joy's Bridal in the Tri-City Mall. All right, let's head up toward the Shingle Holloway, a little ways from here, but we can get there with no time and knock on Tina's door. Tina, good morning.
Good morning.
You feeling good?
Happy Friday. Yes, I'm feeling good this morning.
Good, good.
It's a little chilly up here in Shingle Hollow, 34 degrees, but the sun is out. It's going to be a pretty day, I think. The fire department's Shingle Hollow assisted Union Mills on a chimney fire, and I didn't hear from Green Hill this morning. And for birthdays there's no birthdays for today on either church calendar, but for tomorrow on Piney Knob is Mr. Pete Frazier. Hope he has a wonderful birthday. And I got so much to tell you. The song, the Zacchaeus song this morning, Nevaeh and I enjoyed that. That was one of my favorites. It's so good.
Isn't that a great song? Zacchaeus, come down.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
And you were talking about Christy Haynes's flag flying over WCAB today. That's wonderful. It also flew over Piney Knob Baptist Church.
Oh, did it? Yeah,
she went there as a child.
Oh, really?
And has lots of aunts and uncles that, well, I think Norris Hill is her uncle, yes.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm kidding. Norris knows I'm kidding. Is she related to Debbie Haynes and that Jimmy?
No, it's a different set from what I understand, yeah. She's not related to Debbie and James. And then we're excited about tomorrow because the White House community breakfast is supposed to be raining, but we're still going to go enjoy a good buffet breakfast up there, and then going over to Union Mills to the Learning Center where they're having springtime in the mills, especially over 60 vendors there when I looked last night.
Wow.
That's a big event. It is. And it's indoors, unless they have some little pop-ups that are outside, but it's mostly indoors.
Well, I'm glad to see the people using these old schools like that rather than tearing them down. They're making use of them in the community, and that's what they should be doing. And I'm proud of them.
Yes, that sounds like. The Green Hills doing the veterans have that school.
Yes, that's correct. They're doing a great job up there.
So they have bingo every Thursday night. I haven't been yet. Navage usually has gymnastics on Thursdays, but we may change that schedule up and go enjoy bingo one night.
There you go.
Well, nothing else going on up here. Everybody have a great weekend and stay safe and stay dry because it looks like it's going to rain.
Tina, you have a great weekend. Thanks for the report, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Tina White reporting out of the Shingle Hollow Fire District. It's now 7:34. We have 34 degrees. Going to our next phone call up to Union Mills in just a moment.
Good morning. The impact COVID-19 has had on our community has caused many changes. And some of these changes is our jobs. If your job situation is changing because of a layoff or restructuring, you may have to make several decisions. One of these decisions is what to do with your retirement plan. Let's make sure that your investment plan stays on track and doesn't derail your retirement ideas. Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, From Rutherford, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I would love to help you. Please give us a call at 828-287-9197. Our office is located in the Food Line Plaza in Rutherford. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, and member of the SIPC. Bye.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Hello, Brenda Kelly.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How are you on this fantastic Friday?
You don't want to know.
I don't. Have you got problems?
No, I feel wonderful. It's a great day, beautiful day. I got a wife who
What
loves
is it Dr. Bob always says?
a beautiful day, and I feel good.
There you go.
I got a wife who loves me, and kids who love me, and grandkids who think I'm the greatest thing in the world. So I'm a happy man.
There you go.
In spite of all the technical problems.
We might as well be, hadn't we?
Might as well be.
That's right. But we hope everybody's having a good day. I've got 28 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays or any anniversaries. And all them fire trucks that assisted Union Mills was up at my house yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I caught my chimney on fire.
Was that you?
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, my. Well, how'd they ever find you?
Well, I guess GPS.
Follow the smoke signals, huh?
Yeah.
Was it very serious?
Well, it didn't catch your house on fire, so that was a little man didn't want me to call the fire department. I said, yes, I am. He come in and shut the dampers and everything on the fireplace, and you could still hear that fire just a roaring. And I hadn't cleaned. I don't guess the chimney's been cleaned out since Donald died.
Mm-hmm.
And which is 5 years. And so, Dean Connor said, you might want to get your chimney cleaned out. I said, reckon how much that'll cost? He said, be a lot cheaper than building a new house. I said, yeah, I guess so.
You know, that's something all of us overlook, all those chimneys, if we have a little
fire
at all.
Yeah, you just forget, you don't think about it.
Right.
But it was cold, and so I got up and I built a fire, and there was some trash laying out in the front yard, and I was going to go out and pick it up, and there was a empty Pepsi carton laying out on the porch, and I thought, well, I just tore it in half and come in, throwed it in the heater, went out there and picked that up, and little man was out there working on his truck, and he said, there's fire coming out of the chimney, and I said, oh, no. So I guess that empty Pepsi carton, it burnt real fast and just up the chimney, and it caught it on fire.
But no damage to the house?
No, there was no damage to the house.
Yeah,
so
good.
I called the fire department because I was scared.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's what I should have done, ain't it?
Absolutely. It's what you should have done. Those the kind of things you don't want to try to fight yourself.
No. So.
What do they do at the chimney fire? They squirt water down the chimney?
No, they had he told me what it was, but I don't know. He had something in little bags that you can put down in there, and it
smothers it.
Yeah, it smothers, explodes or something, and it's and I was out there breathing all that smoke and all that stuff, and I can't hardly talk today. It got worse yesterday evening because he made everybody. He said asked if everybody was out of the house. I said yes. So we stayed outside until they said it was all right to come back in. He said we might need to check the attic. How do you get up in the attic? I said, oh, good Lord, don't ask me that. I said, I can't remember where that place is at. I said, it's either up through the bathroom or in my closet, but it was in my closet, so I cleaned that out so he could. But they didn't have to go up there. They had one of these things that detects heat.
Yeah.
And he said there was no hot spots anywhere. He had this young man to go up on the roof, and he checked everywhere.
Well, they're very thorough. They're very thorough when they check.
They done a fine job, and I'm proud of them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were home.
Oh yeah. Well, if I hadn't been at home, it wouldn't have been no fire bill.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So, but anyway, I'm just glad they got it under control, and they didn't leave till they made sure everything was all right this year for about an hour and a half or 2 hours, maybe.
So you could have made them some pimento cheese sandwiches while they were there.
Well, Well, I didn't have no pimento cheese. I don't eat pimento cheese because it's got mayonnaise in it. But I could have given them a bologna sandwich. Well, let's see. We got Springtime in the Mill Saturday, April the 24th. Starts at 9 a.m. There's going to be over 50 vendors and food trucks. Free admission. Safety guidelines followed. Raffle tickets on sale, $1 each or 6 for $5. And first prize is a Blackstone griddle. Second prize is spring theme wheelbarrow combo. Third prize is beach theme cooler combo. Prize is sponsored by Pritchard Heating and Cooling. Do not have to be present to win, so that's something to do tomorrow. Is it supposed to? What time's the rain supposed to come in?
Well,
tonight?
It says no. Actually, it says doesn't really say. It just says rain.
It just says tomorrow.
Yeah, doesn't really say what time. But it's pretty much a given 100% chance tomorrow, and then 80% tomorrow night. So it'll be with us pretty much all day.
Well, we need it though, don't we?
We do need it. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
It's always nice though when the rain comes overnight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But,
that's nice.
We don't have any control over that.
No, we sure don't. So it's a good thing we don't, because no telling what would happen.
I know it.
But I guess you better go check on Luther Sweet Thing Gilligan and see if everything's all right in Ellenborough.
Well, I'm glad you're safe, and I appreciate you telling us about that, and I'll see you next time.
Okay, catch you later.
Right, bye. It's 7:41. It's Friday morning. The Caller Run News Report, one of the most popular listened to news programs in America. 7:41 right now. Let's go to Ellenborough right after this.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Well, our news person from Ellenborough, I don't know, must be a call somewhere over in Afghanistan or somewhere. I'm not sure. He's not available to answer his phone this morning, so we'll not have that Ellenborough report. But we'll take birthdays and anniversaries in to be called right now at 287-3356 while our Ellenborough reporter is on an assignment somewhere. Call us at birthdays and anniversaries, 287-3356, and we'll celebrate with you, give you a big shout-out right here on the radio. Now, wouldn't it be nice to get medical attention and not have to leave your home? Now you can, thanks to Remote MD. Remote MD is pleased to announce they have initiated a telemedicine program for residents in North Carolina. The telemedicine program is available to all residents in North Carolina, including Rutherford and Polk counties. It is designed to treat common medical illnesses right from your home. Now, isn't that great? No appointment is necessary, no waiting for days to see someone. This is a wonderful opportunity for people who are struggling financially or have a complicated insurance plan. But your health is important to you, and you want attention now. There are no copays or deductible, and unlimited usage programs start at just $59.99 a month. Learn more about this program. Contact Remote MD today at www.remotemd.net. Again, that's www.remotemd.net.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford, Ton.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
That's really something to crow about. It's the Daylight Donuts from Granny B's in Spindale. Get yours today while they're fresh. They're good. They're delicious. It's Daylight Donuts. It's something to crow about. Carolyn Murray from Boston is having a birthday today. That's the only one we've had called in to us today. But Carolyn, this day is all yours, all by yourself. You get to celebrate, so enjoy and have a big one. Have a good one, and always have many, many more. Coming up in just a few moments, we'll take you to Keys to Confident Living and then travel down memory lane with some classic oldies songs I bet you remember from your days gone by. Classic oldies have been a hit right here at 100.9 FM WCAB.
There is a modern picture by Stanley Berkeley entitled The Hidden Danger, which deals with an interesting event at the Battle of Waterloo. It was this battle which decided the fate of Napoleon. Throughout the day, the battle had raged and things were not going well for Napoleon and his troops. But neither had the great leader thrust his crack cavalry into the battle yet. These were the Old Guard, who were always reserved for the times of greatest importance. These finest had never known defeat and anxiously awaited the command to enter the conflict. Finally, the command came for them to charge. They appeared invincible, but there was one small problem. There was a dip in the road that neither they nor the famous general knew about. However, Wellington, the opposing general, took advantage of it. He put some of his finest sharpshooters in the dip, and they waited until Napoleon's cavalry were almost upon them, and then they unleashed a decimating volley of shots. By the time the horses reached the dip, their power was gone. Napoleon was defeated, all because of a little dip in the road. The little dips in the road of life may be the things that do us in. The unexpected temptation, trial, setback, or disappointment may send us reeling with little hope of recovery. That is why we need to constantly seek counsel from the wisest of counselors, Jesus Christ. He will help us to avoid the dips in the road that throw us off course, or worse yet, destroy us. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
Braves are back and ready to defend the East, and they're on a mission to make 2021 a season to remember.
1-2 pitch. Hit well, deep left field. This one carrying well. Dickerson back of the wall, and Dansby ripped the stitches right off of this thing.
Tonight, don't miss Freddie Freeman and the Braves in a big National League battle with the Arizona Diamondbacks, live from Truist Park. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
The panel will meet to consider ending that pause.
The health officials here who are making this decision today are in a tough spot, trying to put safety first, but at the same time, trying not to scare Americans away from using these vaccines.
Dr. Ashish Jha of Brown University School of Public Health tells ABC.
All the data suggests that, again, the adverse events, the bad clots that we saw, these are insanely rare events. You're more likely to get hit by lightning than you are to develop one of these clots.
Today is the second day of the virtual climate summit President Biden's hosting. Thursday, he called it the existential crisis of our time.
Because scientists tell us that this is the decisive decade. This is the decade we must make decisions that will avoid the worst consequences of the climate crisis.
He announced a target lowering U.S. emissions by 50% from their 2005 levels by 2030. Today, he's expected to talk about job opportunities created by climate action. President will address Congress next week, and ABC's Mary Bruce says it could be a spot to introduce the second part of his infrastructure plan.
The president is reportedly going to propose a major tax increase on the most wealthy and wealthy investors. The White House isn't talking about the details or specifics just yet. They say this is all still in flux, but they are stressing the president's commitment not to raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 a year.
At the Kennedy Space Center this morning.
3, 2, 1.
4 astronauts aboard a SpaceX capsule atop a NASA rocket successfully launched. They're heading for the International Space Station. And Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny in jail says he is ending his hunger strike. You're listening to ABC News.
Paid for by GovMint.com.
The 1920 to 1938 Buffalo nickel, a true American classic and one of the most iconic coins in history. It's been more than 80 years since the last Buffalo nickel coin was struck. But now, for a limited time only, full 1-pound bags of original U.S. government-struck Buffalo nickels are being released to the public. That's right, you can own a full pound of 1920 to 1938 classic American Buffalo nickel coins, all in very good collector condition, with fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-979-7267 now to secure a full pound of collector's grade U.S. Buffalo nickels struck during the Roaring '20s and the Great Depression. Plus, receive a bonus American collector's pack valued at over $10, free with every order. Call now, 1-800-979-7267 to secure your full pound bag of Buffalo nickels before they're gone. 1-800-979-7267. That's 1-800-979-7267.
With just hours left before the oxygen supply runs out on a missing Indonesian submarine, the U.S. is now joining in the search. The sub vanished during a training mission off the coast of Bali. 53 people were on board. First Lady Jill Biden paying a visit Thursday to the country's largest Native American reservation and speaking to Navajo Nation leaders. Coronavirus vaccination efforts there are running way ahead of the rest of the country. Half of the tribe's adults are now fully vaccinated.
With few resources reaching people in some of the most remote areas, the Navajo Nation is a leading example of the COVID response in the United States.
The crisis in India is accelerating. New cases there numbering over 330,000 per day as hospitals ask for more oxygen and supplies on social media. A 90s rap superstar has died.
Best known for the song The Humpty Dance.
So just let me introduce myself. My name is Humpty.
Digital Underground rapper Shock G has died. Real name Gregory Jacobs. Shock G was the leader of Digital Underground, the group that launched a then unknown rapper by the name of Tupac Shakur. The Humpty Dance would reach number 11 on the Billboard singles chart. The album it was on, Sex Packets, Digital Underground's highest charting album, hitting number 24. Jacobs went on to produce music with Prince, Tupac, and Dr. Dre. Shock G was 57. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
This is ABC News.
O'Reilly. Syntec is back and better than ever at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec is a premium full synthetic motor oil option at an affordable price. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic and a Wix filter for just $29.99. Syntec is formulated for today's engines to minimize friction, heat, and wear. Try Syntec today exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
Hello and happy Friday. We'll see a milder afternoon today compared to the chilly day we saw yesterday. Highs today in the mid to upper 60s. We'll see a mostly sunny sky becoming partly cloudy through the afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy sky overnight tonight. Could see a few small showers as we start with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, scattered to widespread rain looking likely. A few stronger thunderstorms possible as well, but that's all dependent on a warm front lifting north. We're drier on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
37 degrees here now. We started out at 34. We've warmed up a little bit, climbing on up to about 66 for our daytime high today, dropping back tonight to around 46. So it's warming up a little bit. Rain's coming tomorrow. Welcome to the third hour of the morning wake-up call here on WCAB. 3 hours of some of the finest information, entertainment, inspiration you can ever find right here is on WCAB. 8:05, and we got news from here and there coming up here in just a few.
If you won the new Millionaire Maker Scratch-Off, what kind of millionaire would you be? Are you the turns their backyard into a golf course millionaire? Or maybe the builds a matching mansion just for your dog millionaire? Good boy. Or the escapes to your private beach when life gets busy millionaire? Sweet. Millionaire Maker from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With 30 top prizes of $1 million. It could be your shot at becoming a millionaire. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Now let's look at some stories from here and there this morning as we scan some of the local stories. Daily Courier and Scott Carpenter reporting that the Rutherford County Farmers Market kicks off its summer season tomorrow and will be open each Saturday, 8 a.m. until 12 noon through October 30th. The Farmers Market operates in a covered shelter adjacent to the pavilion on Park Square in downtown Forest City. In addition to some new vendors, the Farmers Market is seeking public input on what products are wanted in the local market. Each Saturday, a customer request pad will be located at the market manager's table, where visitors can write down items they would like to see at the market. The public may also email suggestions to David Hislop, market manager. Email it to manager@rcfarmersmarket.com. Also this year, Farmers Market customers can pick up an all-local meals recipe each week at the market manager's table. This recipe features will be marked market-based plus a market shopping list for each recipe, making it easy to shop and make a fresh, locally sourced meal right at home. Meanwhile, the Rutherford County Endowment awarded 9 grants totaling $36,750 to Rutherford County nonprofits in its recent grant cycle. The Courier is reporting that the endowment, in partnership with the Community Foundation of Western North Carolina, has awarded grants totaling $1,576,693. David Aker, Advisory Board Vice Chair, said these awards are possible because people who care about this community built a fund over time. Nonprofits have faced so many challenges over the past year, and they're pleased to award these grants to help important community organizations address the needs of those continuing to suffer from the pandemic and to aid in the community's recovery. Some of those grants include money to basic Christian ministries to provide homeless and low-income people with laundry and shower facilities. The Chase Corner Ministries also get some of this money. Grahamtown Team for educational support to children who need assistance with remote learning. Least of these Carolinas will also be receiving some money. They provide monogrammed duffel bags packed with items and clothes for children transitioning into foster care. Monies will be going to the North Carolina Med Assist to provide medications for low-income people. $5,000 to Rutherford County Habitat for Humanity for home repairs for low-income veterans. $3,000 to Rutherford Housing Partnership to replace roofs for low-income families. $5,000 to Salem United Methodist Church Washburn Community Outreach Center to add climate control to a storage facility used for food distribution to low-income people. And then $3,000 to Yoke Fellow Service Center to provide medical equipment for low-income people. So this money going, Rutherford County Endowment awards $36,750 in grants. Meanwhile, Ricky Starnes of the Daily Courier is also reporting that plans to build a Park Square depot at the Thermal Belt Rail Trails Park Square Trailhead. That's a mouthful. Park Square Depot at the Thermal Belt Rail Trails Park Square Trailhead. Took another step forward Monday night after the Forest City Town Council adopted a resolution supporting efforts to pursue a PARTF grant. That's a grant that they're looking for. Town commissioners unanimously approved applying for the 2021 North Carolina Parks and Recreation Trust fund, granting the amount of $450,000. If awarded, it will require a cash match of 50% of the grant amount toward the project for a cash match up to $500,000, with the project to be completed with a 3-year period. The town's match would come from RHI Legacy Foundation, grant awarded to the town in large grant cycle. A lot of money being dispensed out there. Well, Governor Cooper, as you know, is going to make an announcement in June, I think, to at least open things up in June. We don't have to distance ourselves as far away as before. But he's also leading something else that's not very appealing to many people in the state. He's leading a nationwide effort in cooperation with Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer to encourage business leaders to publicly oppose states that pass election reform laws. Now get a picture of what this is, folks. Here's a governor that's wanting the states to oppose election reform laws. You saw what happened in the last election in several states, possibly even North Carolina. I'm just saying. Now, North Carolina General Assembly is wanting to tighten that down, and they're wanting voter ID in North Carolina. Matter of fact, they passed it twice, and the governor vetoed it twice. Now the governor is leading a nationwide effort in cooperation with Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer to encourage business leaders to publicly oppose states that pass, in other words, boycott states that disagree with election reform. The letter states, our governor is saying, we are asking the business leaders in our states and throughout the country to add their voices to the growing chorus of corporations standing on the right side of history when the foundation of our democracy, the freedom of citizens in our states to cast their ballots, is under attack. It is powerful and important when Americans speak up, especially those in leadership positions. To trace back the history of our nation, we've never had what we've had in the last couple of elections. We used to have paper ballots, none of this machine business. We saw video of folks bringing ballots out from under tables during that last election. We saw trucks that were stalled, brought in ballots in the middle of the night. And we recommend those people, in my mind, who think logically about clearing the whole system up, have voter ID like we have ID to get anything else. But the left is arguing that we don't need voter ID as a suppression to voters. Well, it's not. It's an honest way to let folks know that you're who you are, and you're not voting but one time, and you're alive. You're not in the cemetery. You're a voter worthy of voting one time in the state. Well, Governor Cooper and Whitmer, both Democrats, co-sponsored the letter along with former Republican governors Arnie Carlson of Minnesota, Bill Weld of Massachusetts, and Christine Todd Whitman of New Jersey, all rhinos. No sitting Republican elected official signed the letter. North Carolina Republican lawmakers and good government advocates were quick to denounce these steps by Cooper. Senator Warren Daniel, Republican from Avery, said bullying businesses to oppose policies like voter ID, which North Carolinians amended their constitution to require, is wrong. Politicizing everything in society is divisive, and the governor should be ashamed of himself. Cooper and his colleagues feel the need to enlist corporate elites to their cause because they know that regular citizens support common sense election security measures like voter ID, noted Dr. Andy Jackson, director of the Civitas Center for Public Integrity, the John Locke Foundation. He goes on to say, quote, they are not interested in engaging in serious debate over election security issues. Election integrity has become a national issue, as you know, after accusations of voter irregularities stemming from the 2020 election. A flashpoint was a recent Georgia bill passed by Republicans and signed into law by Republican Governor Brian Kemp that make a number of updates to that state's election laws. The changes have since been drawn the ire of the political left, which has encouraged business to boycott the state. Major League Baseball, for instance, pulled the All-Star game out of Georgia because Georgia wants to have an election with integrity, opting to move the game from a black majority city of Atlanta to Denver with only about 10% black population. Now, what kind of showing is that? Atlanta, basically, majority of citizens are black majority. They pull it out of Atlanta, killing a lot of jobs, hurting a lot of people's finances, and moving it to a state where there's only a 10% black population. Georgia headquartered companies of Coca-Cola and Delta have criticized the new law, and they're stationed right there in Georgia. The pressure, the strong-arm pressure is put on them. You need to disallow that law that they passed where we have to have voter ID. That's not good for us. We need to be able to not do that because we need to work in the dark. We don't need any transparency. So clamp down. So they have done that. But Republicans have also pushed back with some suggesting the baseball's antitrust status be revoked. U.S. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky accused corporations of acting like a woke parallel government and threatened serious consequences for companies that retaliate against red states. Here in North Carolina, our great state of North Carolina, Tar Heel State, Republican lawmakers are advancing comparative measures, Senate Bill 360 and Senate Bill 326, designed to shore up voter integrity. Now, what's wrong with voter integrity, folks? What's wrong with that? SB 360 would require the state attorney general's office to get sign-off from the legislature before reaching a settlement of a lawsuit in which the General Assembly is a party. The bill is meant to resolve the type of situation. SB 326 would also expand the timeline for requesting an absentee ballot from 7 days before election days to 14 days, in line with recommendations from the U.S. Post Office of 15 days. A fourth provision in the bill would allocate money to create a mobile voter ID unit to help people get an ID. Poll after poll after poll after poll shows us that North Carolinians want free, fair, and secure elections. The policies we're promoting balance all three interests in a thoughtful, reasonable, and effective way. According to Senator Paul Newton from Cabarrus County, he goes on to say election integrity has strong support across political ideologies. In no way does SB 326 restrict voting access. Our business community should not be intimidated by unfounded narratives. I trust our business leaders to judge our election bills based upon the substance of these bills. I am so disappointed that Governor Cooper would put a strong arm to businesses to get them to go against a state that wants voter integrity and wants to play that same role the left is playing with we don't want to have any voter integrity. We want to do it our way. If you don't do it our way, then the highway to you. I'm so disappointed in him. Because I've been disappointed in him for some while, but it sort of takes the icing off the cake. He knows better than that. But he has not shown much backbone at all. He's bowed to the pressure of the National Democrat Party, bowed to the pressure of the Biden administration and the folks who are pushing that agenda. He has not been bold enough to stand up and say, no, this is not right. This is North Carolina. We want an honest, fair election, and we believe in letting folks identify themselves. He doesn't have enough backbone to do that, unfortunately. 18 minutes after 8 o'clock.
What's the reason to stop by America's Fudge shop? Any reason is the best reason. Who can resist a slice of that heavenly taste made with only the finest ingredients? Enjoy 24 flavors like tiger butter, orange cream, almond coconut, cherry bounce, rocky road, peanut butter, and more. Give your taste buds a treat with America's Fudge shop, 155 East Main Street, Forest City, or call them at 828-447-2041. Hours are Wednesday through Friday, 11 to 6, Saturdays 11 to 5. And try our new fudge, Tiramisu. It's an espresso coffee-flavored fudge.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City is taking appointment times for the COVID-19 vaccination. There are two ways to schedule an appointment. First, go to our website at www.smithsdrugsfc.com, click on the COVID-19 vaccination tab. Then fill out the consent form, choose your group, and at that time you'll be able to choose an available appointment time. Second, you can just call our pharmacy to schedule an appointment time and we can help you fill out the consent form over the phone. We also at times do have some vaccines available later in the evening, and these are posted on Facebook when we do. If you have any questions or concern, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Do you need some extra money in your pocket? Try Insurance Service Associates, your local independent agent. We can shop your auto and home insurance with several companies to get you better coverage and the best rate. Insurance Service Associates at 127 East Trade Street in Forest City for auto, home, or commercial insurance. More choices, better coverage, best rate. That's Insurance Service Associates, 245-5301.
Well, if you're going to be out shopping today, it's going to be a beautiful day for that. You should really go over to Family Treasures Thrift Store. That's there at the Tri-City Mall in the standalone building there, right across the parking lot from Belk. Go by and see those folks and tell them you heard us talking about them on the radio, and they'll give you a 10% additional discount off your purchase. Just tell them you heard Jim at WCAB talking about them, and I just about guarantee you'll find something that you like in there. Fascinating store full of vintage glassware, figurines, collectibles, furniture, toys, and new tools, and a large wall of jewelry, costume and sterling silver bracelets, earrings and bracelets. They buy, sell, and they trade, all of that. And they're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Go by and see them today. This is a little store with a whole lot of charm. It's not your ordinary thrift store. That's Family Treasures Thrift Store in front of Belk, across the parking lot in front of Belk. And tell us here again, just tell them you came because WCB recommended, and they'll give you another 10% discount off of that. All right, it's almost time for sports update. And word of faith at the bottom of the hour, but there's the House yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, passed a bill that wants to make Washington D.C. the District of Columbia state, or make another state. They got unanimous support from the Democrats. It hadn't passed the Senate. It hadn't been to the Senate yet. I don't think the Senate's going to pass it. But what these folks there in the Democrats are doing, they're overlooking the fact that it's going to take a little bit of change in the Constitution to make that happen. It can't happen just by their votes. They got to go back to the Constitution because they want to make the District of Columbia the 51st state, and with a Democrat-dominated population, give the party another 2 senators. And that's what they're aiming to get 2 more, because it will be a Democrat state. The Article 1, Section 8 gives Congress authority over the district in all cases whatsoever, they say. But they got to go to the Constitution. I forget how many states it has to approve that kind of thing. Just because Nancy Pelosi has a lot of power don't mean she can just make things happen. Anyway, I don't have time to go into that today, but we'll talk about that maybe on Monday. Right now, though, we've got here the Sheriff's Report again with Deputy Greenway.
Okay, so we've had 128 calls, made 4 arrests, and there's currently 124 in the jail. Our investigation reports, Butler's Auto Sales reported a felony breaking and entering. We had Catherine Martin reported a financial card fraud. Gina Day reported a fraud. Laura Allen reported a felony breaking and entering. We had James Freeman reported a larceny of firearm, and Kayla Searcy reported a larceny of firearm. Moving on to our arrest reports, Roy Hudson was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Rashid Grant was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Travis Smith was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor. Dustin Lauder, failure to appear on misdemeanor. Kimberly Clark, failure to appear on felony. Nehemiah McGee was arrested for failure to appear on misdemeanor, and that's all we got for you today.
Hey y'all, Joellen here. I'm here to invite you to Rutherford County's second annual 420 celebration. My Green Room is Rutherford County's first and only cannabis dispensary. We are located at 195 West Main Street in Spindale. My Green Room will be hosting the celebration of the world-famous cannabis holiday 420. We will be starting the celebration on Monday, April 19th and ending on Willie Nelson's birthday, April 29th. We will have door prizes, special discounts, new products, and of course, infused soft goodies. My Green Room is home to North Carolina's first cannabis smoking bar. The Bud Bar and Lounge will be open 11 to 6 on 420 with COVID precautions in place. My Green Room carries the highest quality CBD, Delta-8 THC, and Kratom. Dr. Roland D. Doobie will be making special appearances. My Green Room offers discount cards including 30% off for veterans and active military. Are you curious about hemp, CBD, Delta-8 THC, or Kratom? Come visit My Green Room for some education and fun. We have been part of Rutherford County since 2018, and we are excited to serve you for many more years. We'll see you at My Green Room soon. Happy 420. As always, keep it hempy.
That was great effort. The gross hockey game, but that's because we were in the box the whole night. But that was great effort by a lot of guys tonight.
Carolina now in sole possession of first place in the Central Division after the head-to-head with the Panthers. They're going to put the bookend on their two-game set with Florida tomorrow night, and that will be it for the season against that team until they possibly meet in the postseason. The Charlotte Hornets continued to struggle last night and dropping their second straight and sixth of their last 7. They were in Chicago, losing to the Bulls 108-91. A slow start offensively and poor defense early made the night a long one for head coach James Borrego.
We'll do our best to get off to a better start tomorrow. Hopefully we can find some rhythm early in those first 4 or 5 minutes. Our last 2 wins, we got off to pretty good starts. So we just got to stick with it, and hopefully our defense can keep us in this. I know they scored 34 in the first quarter, but hopefully our defense can create some offense for them.
Charlotte Hornets in action again tonight. They are back home versus Cleveland. Kentucky freshman guard Terence Clark died yesterday following a car accident in Los Angeles. The university announced the 19-year-old's death in a release last night, but did not include any more details, except for Coach John Calipari saying he was absolutely gutted and sick. An LAPD traffic cop told ESPN Clark was a solo occupant in a vehicle that ran a red light around 2 yesterday afternoon at a very high rate of speed in the San Fernando Valley area. This is NCN Sports.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now. It's a tailgate party on game day. It's a welcome to the neighborhood. It's another anniversary of the start of something good. It's sharing Bluebell ice cream as the evening sun goes down. The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
North Carolina has added Oklahoma transfer Brady Manick. The school announced yesterday the 6'9" graduate is joining the Tar Heels after spending the past 4 seasons as a Sooner starter under now retired coach Lon Kruger. He will be now under first-time head coach Hubert Davis and join Virginia forward transfer Justin McCoy as an incoming newbie. College football teams will have to go for 2 after touchdowns, starting the second overtime possession this season. And beginning in the 3rd round, each team will get 1 play to score from the 3-yard line. The NCAA Playing Rules Oversight Panel approved the changes made last month by a Playing Rules Committee to tweak the overtime format. The new rule will have teams running alternate 2-point plays in the 3rd overtime instead of starting another drive at the opponent's 25. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
This is Gilbert. If you owe the IRS past due taxes, don't call those toll-free national numbers. Local, affordable help is right here in Rutherford County. Stop garnishments, levies, and liens. Call Gilbert Carmona at 828-289-9300. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert, 828-289-9300.
Hello and happy Friday. We'll see a milder afternoon today compared to the chilly day we saw yesterday. Highs today in the mid to upper 60s. We'll see a mostly sunny sky becoming partly cloudy through the afternoon. Partly to mostly cloudy sky overnight tonight. Could see a few small showers as we start with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, scattered to widespread rain looking likely. A few stronger thunderstorms possible as well, but that's all dependent on a warm front lifting north. We're drier on Sunday. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
And right now we're up to 40 degrees. Beautiful day in the neighborhood on this Friday morning. Great getting up morning in the foothills. Look out for the rain tomorrow, but the rest of the week is going to be nice after the rain ends on Saturday. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherford. It's time now for the Word of Faith radio program, and with the program this morning is Ray Nino.
Good morning. My name is Ray Nino. I'm from Word of Faith, and I'm very, very happy to be here with you today. I'm going to share probably a very strong landmark that's in my life. Was in my life at that, from an early point when I first came to North Carolina. I'm going to share with it. And it was a foundation that God used and used over and over and over again. Always for me to look back to that point because it was such a strong teaching that came out of that. But let me first read this verse in Ephesians 6:10, because what we're speaking about here today is power and strength from the Lord. But Ephesians 6:10 says, in conclusion, be strong in the Lord, draw your strength from him, be empowered through your union with him and in the power of his boundless love. Now, and I also want to just go on and read Mark 9, because it is an example of the very thing that I'm going to share. It says, when they came back to the other 9 disciples, they saw a large crowd around them and scribes questioning and arguing with them. Immediately, when the entire crowd saw Jesus, they were startled and began running up to him and greet him. He asked them, what are you discussing with them? One of the crowd replied to him, Teacher, I brought my son, possessed with a spirit, which makes him unable to speak. And whenever it seizes him, intending him to do harm, it throws him to the ground. And he foams at the mouth, and he grinds his teeth, and he becomes stiff. I told your disciples to drive it out, and they could not do it. He replied, O unbelieving, faithless generations, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring him to me. They brought the boy to him. When the demoniac spirit saw him, immediately it threw the boy to the ground in a convulsion, and falling, he began rolling around and foaming at the mouth. Jesus asked the father, how long has this been happening? And he answered, since childhood. The demon has often thrown him into the fire and into the water, intending to kill him. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us, Jesus said. He said to him, if you can't, all things are possible for one who believes and trusts in me. Immediately the father of the boy cried out with desperate, piercing cries, saying, I do believe. Help me overcome my unbelief. It was after that Jesus then went and prayed, and basically that child was delivered immediately. And the disciples afterwards in private came up to him, and they started asking him, says, why were we unable to drive it out? He replied to them, this kind of unclean spirit cannot come out by anything but prayer to the Father with all your heart. And that, for me, is what happened when we went as a group. We went as a group to Togo, Africa, not long after I first came here. And it was probably one of the most, I'd been to Africa several times before, but in a business type capacity. But this time we went and we were having a ministry. And that ministry was being held every day in a building, and it was a church. It was the building that was used as a church for the people there that were in Africa. And when the people would gather, they'd come in the church, and several of us always sat at the back because we wanted to make sure everything was okay and people were, everything was going good and we could see what was happening. And there was always this lady that would come. Every day she would come with her child. And that child, as things started going, would start to stir. And when it would stir, it would bite her mom. And it would not just bite her, it would bite her till it would start to bleed. And it would stop and then it would happen again. And the whole time it was happening, obviously we were praying for the child, we were praying for the mom. And she would come day after day, and it would happen day after day. And one day we several of us went up and said, can we pray for your child? Can we pray for her? Because we would hold her during the services, and the child wouldn't bite us. But we asked her, can we pray for your child? Can we go in that? Can we try to pray and see if we can help her? So we prayed. And I can honestly tell you, I prayed as strong as I could at that time. And the guys that were with me and the people that were with me, they did the same. We prayed and prayed and prayed. But every time we would give the child back to her mother, she would bite her again. And she would bite her even harder. She would bite her till she would bleed. And so we prayed several times. We had, when the services were over, we stopped, and prayed, and every time we would give her back to her mom, she would bite her again and bite her to the point that blood would come out of her. It was very confusing to me, and it was like, but God, we're praying. We're praying hard. We're doing everything we can know how to do. So I was like the disciples, disciples ran to Jesus. I ran to one of the leadership that was there. And I said, why? I mean, why does that demon not leave? And the leadership turned to me at that point in time and said, it's your lifestyle. And I thought, well, I don't fully understand what she said, but I'm gonna listen and try to understand what it was. Because I thought my lifestyle, well, I'm here. I'm giving my life. I'm doing everything that I know to do. I prayed hard. But the thing that God began to show me, it's the way I lived every day. You couldn't come in and all of a sudden turn something on and turn something off. The power of God, what we're learning about, the power and strength of God, it can't be turned on and off. It comes out of us. And it comes out of us because of our submission to Him. And when our submission to Him is a broken submission in the sense, okay, we're in the service, we're praying strong, great. But then we go out, we may be giving the loose talk, we may be doing this, we may be doing that. And you begin to look at your life, because what happened then, and why that is such a landmark in my life, what happened then was I began to look at my life. I began to see really what was happening in my life on a daily basis. Because what was I really submitted, daily? Because, in your life, God wants all of your life. He doesn't just want part of your life. I travel with an evangelist, and he would always say this: the way up is down. And I began to understand more and more after that moment. After that landmark, I began to understand I had to die. And what does it mean to die? It means exactly what I've been sharing here with you. It means that you got to get out of the way. Because the power and strength of God is sufficient, but you're in the way. Your lifestyle becomes in the way. When you're not on a daily basis, on an hourly, on a minute by minute basis, going to God, allowing Him to show you what to do, but yet you're still doing what you want to do, it's your lifestyle. And it gets in the way. And you're not dead to it. You're still alive to it. You want to go to this, you want to go to that. You know, and early on, you know, maybe you want to go, oh, but I'd like to go do this. I'd like to go do that. That's the problem. That's where the death has to come. You know, it's been a long journey for me for that death. You know, it's been a long, very, very long journey. But John 3:30 says, He, God, must increase in prominence, but I must decrease. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about that. It says, Jesus becoming particularly noticeable in my life. Why does he become particularly noticeable? Because all of a sudden, inside me is as much him as I want to show outside. You know, he's cleaning up the very things. I'm dying to the things that, you know, would lead me the wrong way or take me here, take me there. I'm dying to those things, you know, and I want to die daily. I want my life to be reflected. I want people to see that he is increasing and I am decreasing. I want particularly noticeable in my life. Why? Because I know if it is, and it's not false, people see it. And then I know what's happening. God is changing me. And that's what's happened over the years. I mean, he has changed me. In Corinthians, it says, 2 Corinthians 5:17, he says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, that is, grafted in, joined to him by faith in him as Savior, he's a new creature. What's a new creature? Someone that's beginning to particularly show noticeably Jesus in our lives. He's a new creature, reborn, renewed by the Holy Spirit. The old things, the previous moral and spiritual conditions have passed away. Behold, new things have become. Behold, new things have come, because spiritual awakening brings new life. That's dying. That's dying. You know, when those things enter your life, you're a new creature. You become new. You become, I know now when I look back and I think about my life and I think, I don't know that guy. I don't know who he is. In many ways, I don't even know how he was thinking some of those things or how he was able to go do some of those things. But yet I did them. You know, I did all of them. You know, I became a new creature. I was reborn. I was renewed by the Holy Spirit. You know, in my mind, you know, God was dealing with, you know, in Romans 12, it says the renewing of your mind. That's where I so see, you know, I so see how God, he takes us and he just keeps working with us and working with us. And you're always, you know, that picture of that, they took a picture that day of that young child sitting on my lap. And for a long time, that picture sat on my desk or sat near my desk, you know. And it always reminded me. It always brought me back to that landmark, that day when I realized my lifestyle was an issue. Thought I'd come to God, thought everything was fine, you know, but yet God wants to do more, still wants to do more. And every day I still have to die. I have to die to those things that are still in my life that I still count as what I want to do. I have to get to a point where that death is such that I always go to him. I trust in him. I remember, you know, you may think it's very trivial, but I started to play softball at one point. And I was helping coaching and then eventually actually started to try to pitch. And I hadn't played softball. I mean, at that point, I don't know, I was 40 some years old and probably haven't played ball in I don't know, 20, 25 years. And so I would be driving to the park, and I'd be praying, and I'd be saying, God, help me. Help me. You know, he would always bring me back to something. He would bring me back again to that landmark. And that landmark that taught me, so what's your lifestyle been like today? So have you gone to me? Have you trusted me today for today? You know, in your business dealings, were you inquiring of me? And you sit there and say, well, what does all that matter? Because whenever you go do anything, it's going to reflect how God is in your life. It's going to reflect how much of that day you gave to God. And so you get out on that mountain, you start pitching, and it doesn't necessarily go all that well. And you start realizing, I didn't have that good of a day in God today. And now it's being reflected in what I'm doing here. And so you begin to see, and those foundations become very important, and those landmarks become important. And that death to your thinking, your moral feelings, how you want to do things, it dies. It dies daily. It dies daily more and more and more. But I mean, one of the biggest things for me, and my wife can attest to it, probably better than anybody. But one of the biggest things for me was I always had to be right. I remember, I remember very clearly, sitting in the church and, standing my ground. I mean, this was early on. I need to make sure you understand. This was very early on. So I would stand my ground, and I would have the nerve to sit there and believe I could be right and all these other people were wrong. And I just had that nerve. That nerve was very strong, and it was very difficult to be moved. But God began to move. I began to die. I began to die to some of those feelings. I began to die to some of that thinking. And Paul is he's a prime example, because you think about Paul. What did Paul do? Paul was a very learned man. He was a powerful man, but he was the power. And we're talking about the power and strength that comes from God here. But Paul was the power, and people feared him because he persecuted the Christians. They feared this man. But he says in 1 Corinthians 2:1-3, and this is when Paul is talking about his reliance on the Spirit, his reliance that the power and strength is going to come from God. And this is what he says. He says, and when I came to you, brothers and sisters, proclaiming to you the testimony of God concerning salvation through Christ, I did not come with superiority of speech or of wisdom, no lofty words of eloquence, or philosophy as the Greek orator might do. For I made the decision to know nothing. That's the very key right there. He made a decision to know nothing. That eloquence, that eloquence of speech can be a seduction. You can talk to someone and try to convince them. I'm pretty sure that I tried to convince my wife, I tried to convince everybody around me that I knew what I knew was right, I thought was right. But it was just me trying to convince them. It was not God speaking. God had already spoke, and I rejected it because I thought I knew more. I thought I knew better. And this is where Paul says, he made a decision to know nothing. Does that mean he didn't know anything? No. It means he knew nothing aside from God. It goes on, it says, know nothing. That is to forego philosophical or theological discussions regarding inconsequential things and opinions while among you, except Jesus Christ and him crucified, and the meaning of his redemption, his substitutionary death, and his resurrection. I came to you in a state of weakness and fear and great trembling. You know, when you really begin to know that, you know, and you don't try to stand on what you know, and you don't, all your life you build up to these points, and, you know, you've survived by your ability to thinking you knew. And you survived because you could stand against anybody, you know, with that knowledge. So what happens? Paul says, I came to you in a state of weakness and fear and great trembling. I made a statement in the car, and he said, my wife said today, she said, it's going to be strong. It's going to be great. And I said, it's going to be great if Jesus shows up. And she said, he's always faithful. He shows up. But you know what it is? That's that weakness, the fear and the trembling. You got to be humble. You got to trust God. You got to trust God. You got to die to yourself. You can't believe when you walk through the door and you become the share, like at this moment right here. You can't think, I got a hold of it. I know what I'm going to say. I know how I'm going to say it. You can't say that. You got to go, Jesus, help me. Because I got to say words that are from you. And those words have to have weight. And that weight has to be the power and strength that comes from God, not mine. I come here in weakness. I come in fear and great trembling that I might not hear, because I need to hear. I need to hear what to say. I don't need to introduce things that are nothing but me. I need God to speak. And when he speaks and when you hear, the power and strength changes you. You can become a new creature. You can change from who you were. You no longer are that person. You begin to see the change. You begin to see the particular noticeable Jesus showing up in your life. Why? Because you're changing inside. You're dying to the things that meant something to you before that were really meaningless. They were just what you wanted to do. I mean, you look at Paul. What an incredible example. I mean, what an incredible example. I mean, this man, he was powerful. He knew everything. He was a very learned man. He says, I want to make a decision to know nothing. That's what I want. That's what I want every day. I want to know nothing. Not that I don't want to know anything of my own. I want to know what the will of God is today for me, what he's trying to do for me today. He says in 1 Corinthians 15:31, he says, I assure you, believers, by the pride which I have in you and in your union with Christ Jesus our Lord, I die daily. I face death. I die to self. That's Paul again. That's what he's saying. That's what he wants us to do. That's what has to occur in your life. You have to die daily. You wake up in the morning, realize that this is the day that the Lord has made. And you're going to rejoice in it. And not only are you going to rejoice in it, you're going to go to him on a regular basis. You go to work, you're going to say, Jesus, help me. Help me to know. Most days I start my day thinking, Jesus, help me. I don't know how to do this. In many cases, it's very obvious you don't know how to do it because it's not happening. And you have to go to God. But he wants us to be of another spirit. He wants us to want to go to God. He wants us to always go to him. He wants us, like Paul, to say, I make the decision to know nothing. You got to start the day and say, Jesus, I don't know what's going to happen today. I just know I'm submitting my heart to you. I'm depending on you. I'm sitting here right now. I'm depending on God. I'm depending on God to say what needs to be said. When I go to work tomorrow, Monday morning, I'm going to depend on God. I'm going to depend that he is going to show me what to do. And as long as I walk in those places, he's going to be faithful. He's going to be faithful to do it. In Galatians 5:24, it says, And those who believe in Christ Jesus have crucified, died to those sinful nature together with its passions and appetites. That's what we're talking about. Dying to those passions and appetites. It's like, drugs and, all, music and, all those things were just so important in my life. You lived for them, truthfully. You get up every day. You didn't get up every day and, crying out to God, what am I going to do? You got up every day and thought, okay, now how am I going to get my drugs today? Or how am I going to, how am I going to bring pleasure to myself today? That's what you did. And what he's saying is, no, when we're in Christ, we've crucified those things. We've allowed them to die. Jesus died on the cross for us, for those sins, those sinful nature. Matthew 16, 24 through 26, he said, then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone wishes to follow me as my disciple, and that's where we're at. That's where I'm at. That was that choice that I made. I was following him. I wanted to be one of his disciples. I wanted to be one of those that followed his words and taught how to do those things. He says, if anyone wishes to follow me as my disciple, he must deny himself. Set aside selfish interest. Again, set aside selfish interest and take up his cross, expressing a willingness to endure whatever may come and follow me, believing in me, conforming to my example in living, and if need be, suffering or perhaps dying because of the faith that's in me. For whoever wishes to save his life in this world will eventually lose it through death. But whoever loses his life in this world for my sake will find it, and that is life with me, eternity. And that's what we're going for. He says, for what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world, wealth, fame, success, but forfeits his soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? You think you would give all this, and you strive. I had so many companies. I tried so many different ways to gain all that the world had for me. And thank Jesus that I failed. Because had I succeeded, I may have never found him. But he was faithful. Because many of the things, I always look back, and I talked with my wife about it many times, and I look back and I said, it's interesting because when we did that, it didn't work. But the next guy that did that, he was incredibly successful. And that happened over and over and over again. And I started thinking, well, why is that always happening? And then I really turned, in fact, it was a thing that it took me a long time to remember this or understand this. But when I went to basic training in the military, I succeeded in a lot. I passed all the tests, and I was granted to go to Syracuse University for 2 years and learn Vietnamese. And I was going to be, special forces and all these things. And, I didn't get to do it because of my youth. And at that time, I thought, oh, that's terrible. It was years later that I looked back and realized it probably saved my life. Because they would have stuck me out on some hill in the middle of nowhere, interpreting what the Vietnamese were doing or being a forward person, spotting and all that. I may not have lived. I may not have made it through it. So, God's plan is perfect for us. We have to die to all the things that we want to do. But he says you got to take up your cross every day. And so what's your cross? What is the cross you have to carry daily? Jesus went to the cross. He carried his cross, and he was on the cross and he carried it and he died on the cross, and he died on the cross for us. So what's the cross you have to carry today? What are you going to do? You know, there's a song we sing, you know, and it says, have thine own way, Lord, have thine own way. Thou art the potter, I am the clay. Move me and make me. This is what I pray. This is what I pray today. This is what I pray for me. But you know what? You know, this is what I pray for you as well. You know, you need to let him truly be the potter in your life. You need to let him mold you. You need to let him make you. You need to die. You need to take up your cross today for him and realize you don't need those things. You know, carry the cross. Die. You know, die to the things that are around you. Let him be the potter. Let him be the clay of your life today. Thank you. Thanks for listening to me. Have a good day.
Get your local weather at 5 past the hour here on WCAB.
Do not have to be fatal. This is a treatable condition if you recognize it right away. And one of the reasons I think it's been good to have this pause is to get everybody apprised of that.
The panel could vote to recommend a warning accompany the vaccine for young women who are thought to be more vulnerable to the blood clots.